All right, People versus Anthony Capel, 227189 FY. Mr. Capel appears in person this morning along with counsel Nancy Schaub. Good morning. The prosecution does not appear this morning of their own choosing. In regard to the matter then, did you have a chance to go over the resentencing recommendations with Mr. Capel?
I did, Your Honor. There's nothing of a factual nature that we need to address in there. I did talk to Mr. Capel about his payments. He's indicated that he was planning on paying with his taxes. I think he has some financial difficulties due to being in and out of work. So I think he's trying to catch up on some back bills and putting the court on the back burner, so to speak. Advised him that's not a good idea. Even paying $5 a week would make an impression on the court. So I think he'll try and do better going forward. With regard to the drug screen today, he advised.
Welcome back to another wild ride inside the justice system. And trust me, today's case is one of those you can't make this up moments. We're stepping into Judge Laos' courtroom, a place where leniency is rare and accountability reigns supreme. Our main character, Anthony Capel, a man whose decisions make you question whether he's living in reality or meth-fueled fantasy. On paper, this should have been a simple probation check-in. But as we're about to see, when excuses start flying and meth gifts get mentioned, this courtroom turns into a full-blown...
But obviously, given his circumstances, that was not a wise choice. But he does have a full-time job. If he goes to jail for 15 days, I don't know if that job will be available when he gets out of jail. So I don't know what the court wants to do with Mr. Capel. I don't know how. I had notes prior to his pleading to this that he had been testing clean and doing what he was supposed to do, but apparently he's gotten a little bit off track. I'm hoping the court will give him one more break and not put him in jail today.
Thank you. Mr. Capel, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I work at hometown right now. We're reduced to winter hours.
What?
We're reduced hours right now because it's the slow season. So I'm only getting like 32-ish a week. So it's like $500 a paycheck, roughly, give or take, after taxes. But I should have enough to pay for, if not half, majority of the court costs that I owe. Because of 4 seasons, I clocked enough hours, I think. I'm just waiting on the W-2 SE. I worked there for 2 days.
And there it is, the moment that defines this entire hearing. Imagine walking into court already admitting, yeah, I'm not going to pass the drug test. That's like showing up to a job interview and saying, by the way, I lied on my resume. What's incredible here is how matter-of-fact his lawyer sounds, as if this level of dysfunction has just become routine. Notice how the defense tries to soften it. He's honest, Your Honor. Sure, but honesty after self-sabotage isn't virtue. It's damage control. This scene perfectly captures how judges lose sympathy. It's not the drug use. It's the indifference.
Well, Mr. Capel, anything else you'd like to add?
May should go back to regular hours. So I'll have a lot better time.
How long have you been there?
Since July.
And what are you working now then?
What's a rotating schedule? So it's 8 to 4 with Wednesday off. And then the Saturday off for my work camp. And then it's 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 with Wednesday off. And then I work that Saturday 8 to 1. That's if I don't get sent home early, because we have a high school kid that comes in about 3:30. Usually I can get a couple hours for the end of the day there.
Well, I have some serious concerns here. This was an underlying felony, Mr. Capel. You had 2 charges of assault with a dangerous weapon, felonious assault, felony firearm, reckless use of a firearm, and it was a very troubling underlying situation. In a dating relationship, argument the day before, pushed her on several occasions. Victim and another victim were present in the apartment. You became upset, retrieved a revolver from your bedroom, brandished the revolver, and demanded everyone leave the apartment. That was pled down by the prosecutor's office. You ended up pleading on a domestic violence, an assault and battery, and a reckless use of a firearm, all in misdemeanor court. That you were placed on probation for in January of 2023. Your bond condition, sir, where you were not supposed to be using marijuana or other types of controlled substances that weren't prescribed to you way back in November of 2022. That was put into place. That continued when you were sentenced in January of 2023.
This is where courtroom psychology gets interesting. The defense plays a job card, a desperate plea to humanize a client through his paycheck. But Judge Laos isn't buying sentiment. She's about to weigh patterns, not promises. In every probation hearing, the subtext is the same. Will this person change if given one more chance? Here, the defense's tone says it all. Even she knows that hope is slipping. And the irony? He talks about back bills and tax returns. But the moment meth enters the picture, no financial hardship justifies that choice. This isn't poverty. It's priorities gone wrong. Here's where context hits like a hammer. What started as a probation review suddenly turns into a reminder just how serious his original crimes were: assault with dangerous weapon, reckless firearm use, and domestic violence. The leniency he's already received is enormous. This is why Judge Lao's patience is hanging by a thread. When defendants treat probation as a suggestion instead of a sentence, the system starts tightening. The audience often forgets probation isn't freedom, it's a test. And when you violate that trust, you don't just fail yourself, you challenge the very mercy the court extended to you.
In regard to the matter, then, we've had several blips with your probation, and then most recently, what you're being sentenced for today was on September 20th, you had a positive for methamphetamine. Here we are in January of 2024, and your lawyer's telling me you're still going to be positive. I lowered your payment to $100 a month starting back then in October, and you still haven't made any payments because from what it seems like to me, the money's going out the door. Maybe you've got less hours, but you have not. How do you justify purchasing methamphetamine? You can't. And maybe it was a gift, maybe it wasn't, but now we got September and January on top of everything else going on here. It sounds to me from the behavior that was demonstrated at the underlying charge, you had probably some meth going on that day and an inability to control your anger due to the ingestion of meth. It does not do good things to people. You're lucky you didn't kill somebody that day. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now you come in here telling me, I can't go to jail, Judge, because, I'm going to lose my job and I value my job. If you valued your job, you wouldn't have been doing meth. You know you're being watched. I mean, how bad of a problem do you have when you know you're being watched? You're coming in to get sentenced for violating your probation, for using meth, and you come in here dirty for meth. That's not my problem. That's your problem. That's a big problem. That's what you're telling me. Red flags going up all over. Problem. Can't even control my behavior enough when I know I'm going to go to court and get sentenced. So I am sorry, Mr. Capel. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies, aren't we? I don't know what to tell you here, but this is absolutely ridiculous.
Give me 3 weeks, I can guarantee.
She's not worried about the payment. She's worried about you doing
I can
drugs.
guarantee you clean UA, and then I'll guarantee everyone after that to be clean.
This is the breaking point, where logic leaves the building. Think about it. He's already failed a drug test in September and still shows up dirty in January. You can almost feel Judge Lao's disbelief. She's not just angry, she's insulted. Judges can forgive mistakes, but not mockery of the process. Her tone is a masterclass in controlled outrage. She's exposing every contradiction in his story, from financial hardship to meth gifts. This moment isn't about punishment anymore. It's about reality checking a man who's convinced that consequences are optional. Now, this is what we call the jailhouse epiphany. Suddenly, when freedom's on the line, every defendant finds a motivation to do better. But for Judge Laos, empty guarantees mean nothing without clean results. Her response: "You should have been doing that all along," cuts deeper than any sentence could. It's not cruel, it's clarity. Probation is supposed to be the second chance, not the warm-up to incarceration. This VO moment is powerful because it shows the transition from excuses to accountability. The judge isn't being harsh. She's being fair to every person who actually does follow the
Should have
rules.
been doing that all along, Mr. Capel. So this is where you're at today. I'm going to continue your probation. If you can't establish clean testing, get used to the bunk rack over there, because that's where you'll be back. Your outstanding balance is $795. I will allow that continued payment to commence 30 days after his release from jail. Recommence.
That was $17.95, Your Honor.
What did I say? $1795. I'm not going to assess another attorney fee. We'll take that off of there.
Can I get a report date?
I'm going to order 15 days in jail, 0 days credit. I will hold 10 days in abeyance if you successfully pass a drug screen today at booking. If you don't, so Mr. Capel, if you can't pass the screen today, you're going to be sitting your 15 days.
I can't get a check-in date, so.
No, it's right now.
When you
Right now.
get out of jail, you check in with your probation officer as soon as possible.
Right now, Mr. Capel, you made this bed yourself. Think about it. You got 15 nights to think about it.
Sign, and then he'll take you down to probation.
He is going to jail, right?
Yes, he's going to jail either for 5 days or 15, depending on him. So if you test clean, you'll be out in time to go to work on Monday. That key is in your hands. I can't do anything about it. In regard to the matter, that's that. Did you understand your appeal rights then, Mr. Capel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
15 days in jail. That's not just a punishment. It's a message. Judge Laos delivers it with surgical precision. Every word is calculated to remind him that personal responsibility isn't optional. The key line here: you made this bed yourself. It's the purest truth in criminal justice. Every decision builds the outcome. Notice how she offers a path to redemption. Stay clean, keep your job, move forward, but is entirely conditional on him proving he can control himself. That's what makes this judgment powerful. It's not vengeance, it's structure. A wake-up call disguised as a sentence. And that's the verdict. 15 days to reflect, a probation extension, and a clear warning from a judge who's seen one too many self-inflicted disasters. What makes this case fascinating isn't just the punishment, but the psychology behind it. Judge Laos balanced compassion with consequence. She gave him a path to redemption, but on her terms, not as excuses. This courtroom moment reminds us, accountability isn't cruelty. It's the backbone of justice.